Good evening. This is Dr. Jai Chitra Rajkumar from Rajeshwari Nursing Home and Test Tube Baby Center, Palladam, Tirupur, Tamil Nadu. Today I will discuss about fibroid. Fibroid is also called myoma or leiomyoma in medical terminology. So what are fibroids? Fibroids are the overgrowth or the lump which arises from the smooth muscles of the uterus. Fibroids are seen in 20 to 50% of the females of reproductive age group, that is 20 to 45 years of age. Fibroids are of basically three types: submucosal fibroid, intramural fibroids and subserosal fibroid. Submucosal fibroid are the fibroids which grow inside the uterine cavity. Intramural fibroids are the fibroids which grow in the body of the uterus. Subserosal fibroids are the fibroids which grow outside the uterus into the abdominal cavity. So we have seen that there are three types of fibroids. So fibroids may be single or multiple in number. They may vary in size from a very small seedling to a huge bulky mass. This mass may be that huge that it causes the distortion of the uterus and may reach the rib cage also. So coming to the symptoms. Many patients may not be aware that they have a fibroid. It is coincidentally found during pelvic examination or ultrasonography done by doctors. But many patients are symptomatic. Their symptoms are: they may have heavy menses with passage of clots, they may have pain during the menses, they may have prolonged menses for more than 7 days. So these are the menstrual irregularities of the patients. Sometimes these fibroids causes pressure symptoms. When the fibroid causes pressure on the urinary bladder, it causes increase in the frequency of micturition. When it causes pressure on the intestines, it may cause constipation or frequent small motions. Sometimes it may compress on the other pelvic structures and may cause severe backache. Last but not the least, it may cause infertility. That is, patient may find difficulty in becoming pregnant. So these are the symptoms. Now coming to the causes. Why the fibroids are caused? Actually, the exact causes are still not known, but there are few factors which are responsible for the development of these fibroids. First is hormonal imbalance. As we all know that female hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone, are very much required for the endometrial growth. So some imbalance in these hormones may cause the development of the fibroid. Second, genetic predisposition. We have found that fibroids are usually seen in families. They have a special genes on the smooth muscle cells which the other patients don't have. Third is growth factors. There are some growth factors like insulin-like growth factors which are abnormally secreted and which is responsible for the growth of the fibroids. So these are the factors causing fibroids. Now coming to the connection of the fibroid with the infertility. How the fibroids causes infertility. Now coming when there is presence of submucous fibroid, it may cause a block in the ascent of the sperms, or it may block the development of the embryos. Sometimes these intramural fibroids or the subserosal fibroids, when they are larger than 5 centimeters, distorts the cavity of the uterus, again causing blockage in the ascent of the sperm or the development of the embryo. Also when these fibroids are present in the cervical region, it may block the os and thereby causing hindrance in the ascent of the sperm and thereby causing infertility. Sometimes these fibroids are so big that it blocks the ostia of the tube, thereby hindering the entry of the ovum. So these are the causes of infertility in a patient with fibroid. Now coming to the pregnancy and fibroid connection. If a female knows that she has a fibroid of more than 5 centimeters or a submucosal fibroid, she should better get treated for the fibroids before she plans for a pregnancy, because these fibroids give rise to pregnancy complications also, like preterm labor pains, abruptio placenta, or IUGR, that is intrauterine growth retardation of the fetus. And sometimes these fibroids give rise to red degeneration and the patient complains of severe abdominal pain during pregnancy. So it is better that the patient gets treated for fibroid before she becomes pregnant to avoid these complications. Now coming to the treatment options. So treatment will depend upon the age of the patient, size, number and location of the fibroid, and also depends upon the patient's choice of conserving the uterus or whether the patient has completed her family or not. So treatment options are conservative treatment and surgical treatment. Coming to this conservative treatment we treat the patient symptomatically. Like if the patient has got menstrual irregularities, we can prescribe them paracetamol or NSAID to reduce their menstrual disturbances. Then there are drugs like ulipristal or mifepristone, which also causes shrinkage of the fibroid. So these can be prescribed for 3 to 6 months. There are also other drugs like GnRH analog, which are prescribed to shrink the fibroid size. Summarizing the current medical treatment options: combined oral contraceptives, mifepristone, GnRH analog, GnRH antagonist, ulipristal acetate, selective estrogen receptor modulator, progestin intrauterine device, androgen and selective progesterone modulators. There are some minimally invasive methods like MRGFUS, that is magnetic resonance guided focused ultrasonic energy to dissolve the fibroid. Other method is fibroid embolization. These are done by the interventional radiologist who, using fluoroscope, injects materials into the artery which feeds the fibroids, thus causing the shrinkage of the fibroids. So coming to the surgical treatment. Surgical treatment may be of two types: myomectomy or hysterectomy. Myomectomy can be done through three methods, that is laparoscopically, hysteroscopically or through open operation. Through laparoscope we can remove bigger sized myomas also using morcellator, but definitely there are some risks for it. Hysteroscopically we remove usually the submucous fibroid. These submucous fibroids are removed through hysteroscopes. Hysteroscope is introduced through the vagina into the cervical canal, and through the operating channel we can shave off these fibroids into pieces. So the benefit is the patient does not have any incision and the patient is more comfortable after the surgery. Sometimes we go for open operations when there are too many myomas or there are very huge myomas which cannot be removed through laparoscopes. Now coming to the hysterectomy. Hysterectomy again can be done through laparoscopically or through open operation. Hysterectomy is advised in a patient who has completed her family or around the age of 40 to 45 years. These people undergo hysterectomy. The diagrammatic representation of surgical and non-surgical management of the fibroid: MRGFUS, uterine artery embolization, vaginal occlusion of the uterine arteries, hysteroscopic myomectomy, laparoscopic myomectomy, and hysterectomy, that is removal of the uterus as a whole. Now viewers, I have almost completed this topic of fibroid. Hope I have given some clarity to the topic of fibroid. Yeah, in a nutshell I would like to tell that it is fibroid is a benign tumor of the uterus. It hardly turns into a cancer. Very rarely, less than 1% our chances are there that it converts into cancerous condition. I have seen in my practice that patients of 45 to 50 years during their routine ultrasonography have the fibroids in them of very minute size of 1 or 2 or 3 centimeters, but then they are worried whether it will change into cancer or not. We just assure them that it will not change into cancer condition, because the fibroids always shrinks after the menopause as there are no hormonal support. So we always ask them to wait and repeat the scan after 2 years to see the regression of the fibroid. So friends, if you have any queries about fibroid, kindly contact me through my YouTube channel or Facebook page. Thank you so much and God bless.